Behavior and communication. I am Grace Roscoe, your facilitator, and I am the executive director of Another Alternative Ministries located at 1607 North Fulton Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland. Our website is http://moodle.ami.org. And I'd like to welcome you to our workshop. It's a professional development workshop, a training session, and on behavior modification in communications. And I want to say that it's for faculty and staff. The goals of the workshop are to assist faculty and staff in better understanding the importance of communication aspects involved when teaching students, and also to provide enrichment education and relationship skills. The approach is this program, it really goes beyond a curriculum-based model and addresses a broad range of issues from instructions on building self-esteem to understanding and aspiring to teach students how to become healthy and wholesome individuals, and finally teach them skills that will help them to make and follow through on good decisions. In this workshop, we're going to discuss three aspects of communication, and we will have a better understanding how it's a key factor in one's behavior, regardless of if it's age, teacher-student, parent-child relationship, your ethnic groups, it does not matter. In the three areas of discussions, we're going to talk about effective communication. We're going to talk about communication styles, communicating and entertaining, and the circle of leadership, which consists of 9 phases. And so when we look at the effective communication cycle, we see that we have a message, and the message we send, and then how that message is interpreted, will provide feedback to the message that was sent. And so when we look at effective communication, we know there are ways that we communicate, either orally, written, or nonverbal, but those are our communication skills, ways. So good communication skills are essential to success in our society. We begin with the basic essentials of communication and say that if a student learn, practice, and use these basic skills, they will serve them well throughout their life. Having said that, we as facilitators, we want to make sure that we're doing our best and communicating the best we can, possibly can, to ensure that our students will be successful. And so let's look at this activity and discuss this in relation to communication. How would you illustrate the following sentences? Teaching is like building a pyramid. That's something for you to think about. A school is like an ocean-going ship. Teachers are artistic. Students are like bumper cars. Education is a mosaic, something consisting of a number of things of different types, forms, or colors. So let's think about this. Let's discuss these issues, these sentences. So how would you communicate that teaching is like building a pyramid? And we'll go through these five questions. Let's look at the four basic communication styles. In our first style, we're going to look at social or small talk, and that is friendly and informal with no tension or attempt to control the conversation. Our second style we're going to look at is control talk, and that's used when the speaker wants something to happen. They want something to happen in a certain way, or when a change is desired or not desired. Control talk asserts the speaker's right to be in charge. The speaker focuses on the other people, and the strength and energy may vary from heavy control to light control. Our next communication style we look at is search talk. And the search talk doesn't result in action, but it looks for alternatives. It looks for information and solutions to problems. Um, it's used in dealing with serious and sensitive issues. Our next, our fourth communication style that we discuss is straight talk, which goes to the heart of the issue. It deals with differences and tension directly without blaming, demanding, or defending. Let me say that again. Straight talk goes to the heart of the issue. It deals with differences and tensions directly without blaming, demanding, or defending. Straight talk is a cooperative mode of conversation and deals with now, the present, what options are available, and what actions to take, etc. And so, again, we have the social talk or small talk, which is friendly and informal. There's no tension or no attempt to control the conversation. Then we have control talk, and it's used when the speaker wants something to happen in a certain way or when change is desired or not desired. Control talk asserts the speaker's right to be in charge. The speaker focuses on other people, and the strength and energy may vary from heavy control to light control. Then we have search talk, which does not result in action, but it looks for alternatives such as information and solutions to problems. It's used in dealing with serious and sensitive issues. And then we have this final mode of our workshop with straight talk, which goes to the heart of the issue. It deals with differences and tension directly without blaming, demanding, or defending. Straight talk is a cooperative mode of conversation and deals with now, the present, what options are available and what actions are to take, etc. And so we'll start looking at engaging in small talk, which is easygoing, lighthearted, and casual conversation about everyday happenings. It deals with general topics, and everybody should be able to participate in the conversation. And so we look at our cartoon, and we see there's trying to be some small talk going on here, engaging in small talk. But it seems like a one-sided conversation because the lady is asking, why the silent treatment? So that was a small talk. So when we going to move on to engaging in control talk. Now, let's look at some things. Have you ever been surprised when you thought your message was received or understood and it wasn't? And so most misunderstandings result from communication that is vague and ambiguous or appears hostile and disrespectful. Ineffective communication in the workplace may result in low morale, poor cooperation, marginal productivity, and undercurrents of tension. It's important then to make requests and or statements that are specific and clear in meaning. Communication should be respectful and framed in a positive manner that does not contain sarcasm or imply threat or intimidation. Engaging in control talk. So, how do we handle control talk? All of us have known people that really controls a conversation. So, how do we handle that? First of all, we have to back up, and even it could be even us. So, let's look at respect and realize that it's not what you say, but how you say it. Uh, Back talk, it really stings, it shocks, it embarrasses, and it can turn into a battleground. I pulled this resource from Family Education, and I have listed the website here. So, but the reason for back talk, it varies for the as the personality of the children who use it. And at this point, I use this part with a behavior modification class, that training session that I did to a group of teachers that was K through 12. And so I wanted to bring this out, that just because a kid is talking back, sometimes we misread them. And Bozar uh, stated that the child could be hungry, tired, or in a transitional period. But children who talk back usually do have one thing in common: they're trying to separate from their parents and exercise control over their lives. So that was just food for thought. So I have a handout of control talk. And we're going to go through this and revise the statements or the questions below to create new statements that are clear, specific, respectful, and positive. And I have 9 listed. And we're going to go through these. And the first one says, you should have completed that assignment yesterday. Second one, why didn't you people follow my recommendations for this project? The third one, I don't understand why you haven't finished that report yet. The fourth one, you made too many mistakes on this report. You'll want to apologize to payroll. The fifth one, I want you to meet with me at 3 p.m. today. The sixth one, I can't help you right now. Can't you see I'm busy? And the seventh one, I'm sorry I said there were 9, but there were 7. There are 7. You're always complaining about that. So we're going to get together as a little group, and we're going to discuss how we can rephrase these to make these questions or statements clear, specific, respectful, and positive. We're going to turn this negative tone around into a positive tone. And so we are, after we have done that and discussed the turn that those negatives around to positives, we want to talk about which ones were the hardest to rephrase, and why do you think it is? Did any of them seem familiar to you? How is this so? One of the following 3, positivity, respect, and specifics, uh, which is the easiest for you to accomplish in your communication, and which is the most difficult? And then you want to think about and jot down, and we're going to discuss this, how can you improve your communication? Okay, so we're going to move on to engaging in straight talk. You want to set the listener at ease whenever you're engaging in straight talk. Why? Because it helps uh, to begin uh, a pleasant conversation. Sometimes you might want to tell them a little story, and that helps the listener to identify with you as someone like them. You want to be articulate, It's important to speak clearly so that the message comes across in a way that every listener can understand. Your words are remembered, and it's important that people understand what it is that you're saying. It means uttering your words distinctly, preferring simpler words over more complex ones, and speaking at a level guaranteed to be heard but without coming across as too quiet or disengaged. Be attentive when listening and ensure that your facial expressions reflect your interests. When you're engaging in straight talk, you want to avoid anger and frustration. You want to avoid conflict and dominance. You want to engage and resolve. So remember, you want to avoid anger and frustration. You want to avoid conflict. You want to avoid dominating, but you do want to engage and you want to resolve. If there's an issue, you want to engage in the conversation and resolve that issue. So, how do you do this? You want to place yourself on even ground. Do not stand or hover over the other person. This creates a power struggle, and then it pushes the conflict to another level. If they're sitting, you should sit with them. And you also want to listen to the other party. Let them say how they feel, and then wait until they are completely finished talking before you begin to speak yourself. You want to speak in a calm voice. Don't yell or make accusations at the other person. Let them know you have heard their point and understand their side. Don't try to finish the argument at all costs. If the person walks out of the room, do not follow them. Allow them to do so and let them return when they are calmer and they're ready to talk. Don't try to get the last word in. Again, this could lead to a power struggle and may not end. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree and then you can move on. This is when you're engaging in straight talk during conflict. So these are some things that we want to, if this is happening with us or we find ourselves there, we want to be able to turn this around and do this at a more even keel. So we have some tips here for effective communication. First, you want to use active listening, which means that you're just demonstrating that you are listening by nodding, making eye contact, and confirming what they've said. Something like, I understand that you're frustrated and can see your point of view. You want to use statements. You want to use the I statements. I feel frustrated rather than you make me frustrated. I statements allow you to take responsibilities for how you feel and what you want. And you also want to stay aware. Be thoughtful of what you say and avoid offending people. Do not talk over people or dominate conversations. Emphasize. Put yourself in the other person's position. Imagine how they feel and show that you respect their feelings and point of view. You want to be humble. See yourself as you really are, with both strengths and weaknesses. Don't talk to people as if you think you're better than them. And use appropriate language. Be aware of the company you are in and use language that is acceptable to those people. Okay, our next topic is when we are engaging in straight talk. You want to use open-ended questions for conversations to flow well. It's important to ask open questions, and these often start with how, when, and why, and etc. An open question is something like, what sort of things do you do in your spare time? Something like this can get a conversation flowing, and you want to try to avoid asking closed questions. And these are questions that can be answered with a yes or no, such as, do you like films? Do you like milk? Do you like to watch movies? You want to have those open questions as opposed to closed questions, because closed questions tend to kill the conversation. So engaging in straight talk. Number two, step two, active listening. People speak 100 to 175 words per minute, but they can listen intelligently up to 300 words per minute. Since only a part of our mind is paying attention, it's easy to go into mind drift, thinking about other things while listening to someone. And I believe most of us have been guilty of this. Someone is talking to us, and our minds have drifted, and we were thinking on other things other than what the person was saying. So the cure for this is active listening, which involves listening with a purpose. It may be to gain information, obtain directions, understand others, solve problems, share interests, see how another person feels, or just to show support, something along those lines. But it's important to give feedback to show yourself. Any other person that you've understood what they've said, do this by summarizing and repeating what you've heard. Step three, another solution, you can create a cocoon. If you're finding it particularly difficult to concentrate on what someone is saying, try to imagine a cocoon around you and the person you are listening to. You have a cocoon around you and the person you're listening to. Imagine that the cocoon is blocking out all outside distractions so you can really focus on what they are saying. Try repeating their words mentally, then say it, and this will reinforce their message and help you control your mind drift. Hopefully, these tips are helping you. So, the step four is engage with the other person. When someone is trying to get your attention or engage you in conversation, please don't turn your back on them or answer over your shoulders. Instead, turn and face them, engage with them. Good communication is when you really engage. When you're talking to people, observe your body language and your tone of voice. Remember to use open, strong gestures, look people in the eye, and smile when you talk, unless you are complaining about something. And that's another story. And now we'll look at step five, which of, uh, of engaging in search talk, and that's assumptions. Don't assume you know the other person's thoughts and feelings. We want to learn to identify when you do this. It normally occurs when the facts aren't present to support your belief. So always check with the other person what they mean when they say something before we make that assumption. Step six is antagonistic sentences. Um, if you need to talk to someone about a difficult topic, then avoid using sentences like, you should know me better. Why are you trying to upset me? You've never understood me. I thought we were going to enjoy ourselves. These are antagonistic sentences, and they're really not productive in any way, and would just ensure that there's going to be a conflict. Anytime we um, engage in a conversation using antagonistic sentences, there is most likely going to be a conflict. And so, effective communication. It's essential that we communicate what's important with both words and body language, facial gestures, and other body gestures. And because action speaks louder than words, it's impossible for us not to communicate. Therefore, we need to learn how to communicate what we really want to say. And especially when we are communicating with young people because they have a hard time being understood by adults. And they're often misunderstood by their peers. So during this workshop, we want to through work with overcoming these age old problems. And so nonverbal communication could be sounds, our I'm sorry. Ways of talking could be pauses, stress on words, it could be posture, we slouching, or it could be appearance, untidiness, head movements, nodding, hand movements, waving, eye movements, winking, facial expressions, frowns, body contact, shaking hands, closeness. We could be invading someone's space. And so we're going to get more in depth with this with as this workshop progresses. We will get more in depth with these means of communication. But first, I want to tell you about, and I love this story, my gorilla story. And the gorilla story starts with a cage containing five gorillas and a large bunch of bananas hanging about the stairs in the center of the cage. Before long, we see a gorilla going to the stairs and starts to climb towards the bananas. But as soon as he touches the stairs, all the gorillas are sprayed with cold water. And after a while, another gorilla goes and makes that attempt and gets the same result. All the gorillas are sprayed with cold water. So every time a gorilla attempts to retrieve the bananas, the others are sprayed. Eventually, they quit trying and leave the bananas alone. So we're moving on to one of the original gorillas is removed from the cage and then he's replaced with a new one. And the new gorilla sees the bananas and starts to climb. The cycle starts again. To his horror, all the other gorillas attack him. After another attempt and attack, he knows that if he tries to climb the stairs again, he's going to be assaulted. So then we have another gorilla. The second of the original gorillas, of the original five gorillas, are replaced with a new one. Uh, the new comer goes to the stairs, and that one is attacked. The previous newcomer even takes part in the punishment with enthusiasm. So we see the third original gorilla is replaced with a new one. So the new one goes for the stairs and is attacked as well. Two of the four gorillas that beat him have no idea why they were not permitted to climb the stairs or why they were participating in the beating of the newest gorilla. So after the fourth original gorilla, have been replaced, all the gorillas that were sprayed with the cold water are gone. Nevertheless, no gorilla will ever approach the stairs again. Why? Because it was a cycle. They've been conditioned. They will not approach it again because that's the way it's always been done. And that's how it is sometimes with our communication. If we are sending wrong messages with our communication, a lot of times we've been conditioned and we adapt to things. That's because that's the way it's always been done. And so we want to change that attitude. And so when we are communicating with others, we want to look at things fairly and and don't attack. I have 6 rules for fighting fair. We don't want to attack, we don't want to belittle, we don't want to condemn. We want to define what the problem is, define how to rectify it, figure out what can be done to prevent it in the future. That's when we are dealing with engaging a communication, a conflict in communication. So educators can make a difference. Educators can make a tremendous difference in assisting students in the area of modifying their behavior by changing. We can change sympathy to empowerment, negativity to possibility, survival to enrichment, nope to hope, and talk to action. And I want to say um, this concludes workshop one of our professional development training. And we will continue. We have 3 days of this. The next day, tomorrow, with our workshop on our second workshop in the communication aspect. And thank you so much. I thank you for your time and your attention. And we can continue this discussion. If you have questions afterwards, you can ask me now, and we will address those. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.